Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to the segment of Coach Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. We continue with our recitation from Rag Gaudi, Purbi, Kabir Ji, and the recitation. Rag Gaudi, Purbi, Kabir Ji, Ek Oankar Satgur Prasad. Jah Kash Taha Kish nahi, Panch Tat teh nahi, ईड़ा पिंगला सुख मन बंदे ए अवगण कत जाही धागा टूटा गगन बिन से गया तेरा बोलत कहाँ समाई एह संसा मोको अंदन व्यापै मोको को ना कहे समझाई रहाओ जह भर वंड पिंड तह नाही रचनहार तह नाही जोड़नहारो सदा अतीता एक ही किसमाही जोड़ी जुड़े न तोड़ी टूटै जब लग होए बिनासी काको ठाकुर काको सेवक को काहूँ कै जासी कहो कबीर लिव लाग रही है जहाँ बसे दिन राती वहाँ का मर्म उही पर जाने ओह तो सदा अबनासी कहो कबीर लिव लाग रही है जहाँ बसे दिन राती वहाँ का मर्म उही पर जाने ओह तो सदा अबनासी. The dialogue apparently with the yogis continues in this passage, and here Kabir is raising objection after objection, and the thrust of his argument is that you guys are so focused on the body, but this experience is not a bodily experience, so to speak. So that is the kind of thrust of Kabir's objection. Here is what he says. Jah Kash aha taha kish nahi, panch tat teh nahi. Whereas there is something here, thither, in that space, in that consciousness, there is no thing. The material world does not exist there. Panch tat teh nahi. My man, he says, Bande, how then can the method of binding Ira Pingala with Sukhmana be carried over? So we have to stop for a minute to understand what this is, Ira Pingala and Sukhmana. Since he's addressing the yogis, he is using their lingo to raise objections. And the yogic system postulates 14 main networks of energy called nadis, channels, through which the life force is believed to be distributed within the human structure. Now, there are other systems that think that there are 72,000 nadis, energy channels, but that doesn't concern us here. What concerns us here is the mention of the three main energy channels. They're called Ida or Ira, Pingala, and Sukhmana. Sukhmana is the Ida and Pingala run on either side of the Sukhmana. The conjecture, at least the way it's conceptualized, is that they run from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. And at the base of the spine lies the dormant divine power called Kundalini, which is symbolized the shape of a coiled serpent. So the yogis believe that Ida and Pingala, on either side of the central passage, beneath which is the coiled energy, these two represent the basic duality of the mind. And Sukhmana in the middle, Sushmana or Sukhmana, represents the dormant divine space. In other words, you have to bring these three channels into harmony. One is dormant space, the other two represent the duality of mind-body, and they have to be integrated. Only then it is believed that you come truly spiritually alive. Now, while the aim may not be different, Gurmat does not advocate the intensity of breathing exercises and physical exercises that the yogis were going through, because they believed that the perfection of the body was a sine qua non, was absolutely necessary. But Kabir is saying, not really. And he's saying, what happens when the thread breaks? Taga tuta. Then Gagan binas gaya. Gagan, the dormant space of the 10th gate. You see, he's talking their language. He's saying Gagan binas gaya. That space will disappear as well when the thread of life breaks, because the body will disintegrate. So Kabir says, when that happens, where does all your talk end up? All this talk about Ida, Pingala and Sukhmana. Tera bolat kahan samai? That's the question. Where does your talk go? In other words, nowhere. Eh sansa moko andin vyape, meaning, I think about this, I doubt this every day. I raise objections. Moko ko na kahe samjhai, but no one has been able to explain this to me. So you see how telling Kabir's objection is. Jeh paramand pind teh nahi rachanahar teh nahi jodanharo sada atita eh kahiye kis mahi. Kabir explains that the place, now this is metaphorical, where the master of the universe, Paramand, abides, the body cannot get there. Pind teh nahi. Only the self, the soul, if you will, if you want to call it that, does. So it's not a material space, it's consciousness. But the Creator is not available there to a soul that has not lived in mindful remembrance. Because Jodanharo Sada Atita, untouched by the senses in what we do, in what we say. Eh kahiye kisamahi. Jodi jude na todi tute jab lag hoye binasi. As long as we think in terms of the body, which is perishable, binasi, perishes, Kaako Thakur Kaako Sevak ko kahu ke jasi. Union with the self is simply not possible, because the body is not the thing that is united. This is consciousness. So it is impossible. Kaho Kabir live lag rahi hai, jahan base din rati, wahan ka maram uhi par jaane, oh to sada abanasi. Kaho Kabir live lag rahi hai. My attention is focused on where the Creator dwells day and night. In other words, through meditation and contemplation, I'm taking my mind beyond its restrictive ego. वहाँ का मरम उहीं पर जानने ओह तो सदा अबनासी. I do not make any claims like the yogis are. They're talking about the divine space in the Sukhmana channel. Kabir says, I don't make those claims. वहाँ का मरम उहीं पर जाने. The Creator alone knows. O to sada abanasi. The one who is not perishable, the eternal one, is with me. I know that. So Kabir is speaking the language of devotion, of bhakti, to the yogi. And the yogi is speaking in terms of the ego, of mastery over the self. That, Kabir says, doesn't happen that way. On that note, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.